Code annotated to require the Cherokee Nation Election Commission to amend their rules, regulations, and forms upon passage of legislation by the council. I put that in the form of a motion,
Second.
and I would, Counselor Coates would be the best to add to what exactly the verbiage of this act here.
Councilman Coates?
Thank you. I would move forward with this because this has nothing to do with this is a small item and it doesn't have, it's not related to the item that was withdrawn last time and that you were speaking of just now, Speaker Shambaugh. We got off track last month when this was being discussed because I think there were some confusions and some misunderstandings about it. I will assert once again that this is a housekeeping issue. It is a small thing. We are not trying to change major sections of the election code or anything like that. All of the parts in this, and let me pull it up here, that are at section 5, where it refers to substantive provisions, it refers to section 11C7 in the existing election code. Everything in black is already part of the law. The amendment that has been made, or the change that has been made since last month, is to refer to a different section, not section 78, which was previously referenced as we were hearing from Mr. Fears, going to section 11C7, which references the 90 days that people were concerned about last month. So it is bringing in that 90-day timeline instead, and that is the only substantive change that has been made here, is to simply reference a different part of the law that is already existing. The only change that is being proposed here, the only amendment, is the one sentence that is in red at the bottom of this, which is simply directing that if the legislation has been changed by the tribal council, that all forms and policies that are related to that change should also be changed to reflect the original, or the change that has been made. And I just questioned Mr. Fears as to why that is, because we ran into a situation where it was actually more difficult for a citizen to request a replacement ballot than it was to vote the actual ballot itself.
This amendment only charges the election commission for consistency to not just require a notary, but a witness on all their forms. The election reform was passed, and then this subsequent legislation was passed that made the notary an option, but then offered the option of a witness to our absentee ballots. I didn't agree with it. I like the notary requirement, but that's beside the point. But I support this because now that we've done that, all this does is make for consistency. All the other forms just have to require a witness if that's so chosen.
Or notary.
Or notary. So that's all this does. It doesn't upend anything. It just, for consistency for their other forms, that they just require a notary or a witness. That's all this does.
Condesa?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir.
I would argue that this is not quite as simple as being presented. In section 5, you know, the presence of a notary or the presence of a witness is included there, but it is only mentioned as applying to the affidavit envelope itself. So therefore, I would contend that the current legislation as it stands is not going to accomplish what you want. That's what I would contend. I think that if we're having a disagreement over whether or not this is going to be the case, it may require some legal opinion, and I would ask to table it in deference to the other interests that we are seeking to rectify in the smaller meeting in between now and maybe our next meeting.
So you made a motion to table
Well,
indefinite?
no, there's a motion on the table for a vote, so I think we're in discussion right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm not making the motion.
Okay.
I'm suggesting that as a potential course of action.
okay. Julia?
That's a total misreading. I'm sorry, Counselor Teehee, but it's a total misrepresentation of the intent of this. It is simple. It is trying to change one freaking form. That's it. If you all want to vote it down, fine. You know, I don't care. I'm past caring at this point. Thank you.
Okay.
My suggestion would be, instead of to propose a separate resolution, to include that simple sentence that you're asking for as a revision in that substantive provision in section 5A. I think that's where it belongs, personally.
That's exactly what this is doing. That's exactly what this is doing. And this is how it's done. Unless you want to haul out the whole 35-page law, you know, which we can do, but this achieves the same thing and it doesn't achieve anything in addition. This is just one of the ways to do it. That's all it is.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second. Any more discussion? All right. All in favor of this act, number 1 in old business, signify by saying aye. All opposed? Passes.